Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Data Playbook. Before we get into things, I just want to remind people that this is a work in progress, and it's going to be continued to be updated. So if you want to follow along with those updates, go ahead and subscribe so that you can do that. But enough of that. We're here to get into our Monday Night Football pregame review for Week 14, which is Philadelphia in LA. So let's get into the data. Starting with our team and matchup data, you have Philadelphia favored on the money line with a spread of 1.5 and a total line of 41.5. There's your team's seasonal averages if you need it, and how that compares to the rankings, where you have Philly with an average offensive ranking, with a scoring rank of 19, passing rank of 18, and a rushing rank of 17. Defensively, though, they're a little bit more mixed, with an allowed scoring rank of 9, but an allowed passing rank of 24, and an allowed rushing rank of 29. Disproportionately, their allowed tight end rank is also 2, which is a lot different than their allowed passing rank of 24. For the Chargers, you have a bit of a better offense with a scoring rank of 17, a passing rank of 5, a rushing rank of 10, and a tight end rank of 9. Defensively, it's also mixed with an allowed scoring rank of 11, allowed passing rank of 4, allowed rushing rank of 16, and allowed tight end rank of 7. Starting our individual data with the quarterbacks, you have Jalen Hurts and Justin Herbert, with Hurts getting an average of 20.6 fantasy points per game, and Herbert averaging 18.2. I'll flip over to their season averages now while we go through turnovers, with Jalen Hurts having 2 interceptions this season and 1 fumble lost due to a sack, as well as 2 additional rushing fumbles. Justin Herbert has 10 interceptions this season with 1 additional rushing fumble. In terms of their rushing share, you have Jalen Hurts with about 26.5% of the rushing carry share and 25.2% of the rushing yard share. That's almost a quarter of all the rushing on Philadelphia. With Justin Herbert, you're a little lower with 18.8% of the rushing carry share, but it's still pretty close with 25.7% of the rushing yard share. For your running backs, you have Saquon Barkley and Kamani Vidal, with Barkley averaging 14.1 fantasy points per game, and Vidal averaging just about 10.8. Once again, flipped over for their seasonal averages. And looking at the turnovers, you have Vidal with no turnovers this season, and you have Barkley with 1 receiving fumble. In terms of their share again, you have Barkley with 62.5% of the rushing carry share, and about 56.7% of the rushing yard share. Of course, that's the largest share on the team. As we just saw, the second largest going to Jalen Hurts. Vidal over here gets 39.9% of the rushing carry share and 37.9% of the rushing yard share. Some of that has been due to Hampton being out as the primary back, who had his portion in here, and then you still have a good portion from Herbert being taken, and then a little spread out from some other people that they had rotated through. So Vidal's just still building up his portion here. Next, for your receivers, you have A.J. Brown and Ladd McConkey. A.J. Brown averaging 14.7 fantasy points per game, and McConkey averaging about 13. With no turnovers, here's their averages, and then their weekly breakdown. And if you need to look at that in more detail, go ahead and give the video a pause, because otherwise we're just going to move right into the charts. So A.J. Brown gets about 29.7% of the target share, and 29.5% of the receiving yard share, which is not quite the largest portion on the team, as we see here, and we'll see who that is next. With Ladd McConkey, you get about 24.8% of the target share, and 25% of the receiving yard share, which is also just about the largest on the team. Little less for the target share, but the largest receiving yard share. Next up with the number 2 receivers, you have Devontae Smith and Quentin Johnson, with Smith averaging 13.2 fantasy points per game, and Johnson about the same with 13.3. Here's their seasonal averages, and then the only turnover between the two comes from Quentin Johnson with 1 receiving fumble. And then with their share, you have Devontae Smith with that largest portion at 29.3% of the target share and 33.8% of the receiving yard share, making him just short of the most favored targeted receiver, but the receiver with the most receiving yards in Philadelphia. Quentin Johnson's at 18.7% of the target share and 19.2% of the receiving yard share. And I believe this last portion, which is actually the largest, even though he's listed as number 3, is Keenan Allen. In our receiving game with Dallas Goedert and Ronde Gadskin as the tight ends, you get Goddard with 11.1 fantasy points per game and Gadskin with 10.1. And then here's your averages for the tight ends. While we look at turnovers, we have Dallas Goedert giving up no turnovers this season, but you have Gadskin with 1 receiving fumble. And then for their share, you have Goddard with 19.1% of the target share and 17% of the receiving yard share, and you have Gadskin with 14% of the target share and 19.6% of the receiving yard share. And there you have all your data for that game. It does seem like this could end up being a pretty close game, as indicated by the line. You do have a pretty bad defense here with this 24 and 29 ranks against a passing rank of 5 and a rushing rank of 10. So you do have the advantage for the Chargers offensively there. And you even have the Chargers with the advantage defensively, with an allowed passing rate of 4 and an allowed rushing rate of 16, which would go against a passing rate of 18 and a rushing rate of 17. The one thing that Philadelphia has is that this allowed scoring rank is disproportionate to this defensive numbers, so they are very good at stopping teams within the red zone and preventing them from scoring, against about an average scoring team with the Chargers. But you do have Philly with a scoring rank of 19 against an allowed scoring rank of 11, so the Chargers win there as well. So just based on these numbers, and Chargers being at home, I would actually lean for the Chargers in this game. But you never know how it works out, especially with that disproportionate number. Philadelphia may just have that advantage where they can keep the Chargers out of the red zone, and if they just outscore them, then they win. So we'll have to see where it goes, but I still would lean with the Chargers for this game. So there's your Monday Night Football pregame review. I hope you enjoyed and got something out of it, and if you did, leave a like and subscribe, and leave a comment telling me what data you'd want to see in the future. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you for next week's games.